Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. So today it is with great pleasure that I can discuss my favorite band. And I'm going to be doing a review, a blind test comparison of the new Mobile Fidelity Van Halen II. This is the Mobile Fidelity One Step. It was given to me as a promotional copy, which I really appreciate. And I want to talk to you about the sound quality, the comparison I made of it, what I love, and most importantly, this is just a discussion about Van Halen, my favorite band since I was 12 years old. And I just want to put this out there if you're new to my channel. I am not a professional music reviewer in any way, as you will probably in a few minutes be able to tell. I'm just sharing my opinion as someone who loves Van Halen. And I'm going to speak from the heart about what I think of this new Van Halen One Step in comparison to the 2015 reissue done by Chris Bellman that's readily available right now. I compared the two in a blind test. I'll share with you the results and talk to you about Van Halen. So let's take a look first. I always think that these one steps are so beautiful. And I know some people think, oh, the packaging, I could do without it. You know, when I have friends over and they're looking at my record collection, you know what draws their eye? The beautiful packaging of some of these really nice records, one steps, these audiophile records. They catch the eye and they're like, what is this? Because they've never seen anything like it. So I personally like the royal treatment, and I'm especially touched that Van Halen has gotten this royal treatment, audiophile treatment, if you will. And I've been doing videos for over 5 years, and I said many years ago that I wish someone would do audiophile versions of the Van Halen records, and it was just a dream. And my dream came true. I'm so happy that Mobile Fidelity has done this for my band. It really is so special to me, and I cannot say how much I appreciate it. Van Halen, this one, Van Halen II, came out in March of 1979. Their debut album came out, and they really laid down the gauntlet of showing we are a band to be reckoned with. We've got the guitar, we've got the drums, we've got the singer, we've got the bass. They even had the harmonies, you know. They were serious contenders, and they put out that debut album. And this is pretty much a follow-up to that, and it's a lot of the same with a little more sprinkle of fun, summer, feel-good kind of music. And I want to talk to you about the music, and I want to talk to you about the blind comparison, because I did a blind comparison with the 2015 Chris Bellman version taken from the original master tapes. And as you can imagine, being a Van Halen fan, I've heard this album literally hundreds of times on all different formats. I have the original first pressing, I have a Japanese pressing, I have a 2010 version. I also have this Chris Bellman 2015 version. All of those records are locked away in storage right now because my husband and I are moving from Kentucky to Florida. So I couldn't pull all of those records out. Just to give away a little bit, I can tell you with confidence, though, I have listened to that original copy, the Japanese pressing, everything that I've already owned, and I wouldn't have even needed to pull those out, because I can tell you right now that this one step beats all of those that I had heard before. But I did go ahead and rebuy, even though I already own it. It's in storage. I went ahead and bought another copy of this 2015 remastered version by Chris Bellman, because I wanted to do an honest-to-goodness blind test comparison of the two records. And thank you to my husband. He was so generous with his time. I sat down with my eyes closed, and my husband volume matched each record I didn't know when the one step was going to be sample 1 or sample 2. He switched them up. I had to sit there with my eyes closed, listen carefully, and decide which one I thought sounded the best. And my husband would write the results down, and I had no idea what I was picking. I just had to go by my gut and my ears and my stereo equipment. And of course, that leads me to say, this is all subjective. I have already said I am not a professional music reviewer. I'm just a Van Halen fan that's heard this music my entire life, at least since I was 12. And so I relied on my stereo equipment, and I will leave the details so that you know exactly what I heard these from. And I can just go ahead and tell you, it just wasn't even a fair fight. I love Chris Bellman. I have nothing but respect for him. When I see his records, I pick them up with confidence. In the same way that when I see Krieg Wunderlich mastered something, I can pick that up with confidence too. They are both amazing mastering engineers. Chris Bellman did a great job with the Tom Petty reissues. Krieg Wunderlich did the Mobile Fidelity One Step of Abraxas by Santana, and I've been told by many people who own that, unfortunately I do not, that out of all of the records they own, that Santana Abraxas One Step is the best sounding record they own. So we're talking about top tier mastering engineers. I will say with Chris Bellman, he was making these and doing this when Eddie was still alive, and Eddie had to approve the sound quality. So Eddie had a say in how those Chris Bellman records sounded. I don't think Chris was just free to do exactly what he wanted. He had to please Eddie Van Halen. And having said that, for me, the results of the competition weren't even close. Every single time I picked this One Step by Mobile Fidelity as the best sounding. And I would say the closest song that I listened to was You're No Good, the first one. They both sounded very, very good. And then from there on, it just really wasn't a contest anymore. And I think when Light Up the Sky, when I was finally doing the listening comparison of Light Up the Sky, my goodness, there was no comparison. That One Step beat it on every level of soundstage, of imaging, of punch of the guitar, of punch of the drums. I mean, it was just incredible the way David Lee Roth's voice sounded. That was the moment where I'm like, this isn't even a contest. Light Up the Sky. The 2015 reissue, which I know a lot of you have and enjoy, and I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying that it sounded thin in comparison to the Mobile Fidelity One Step. This is truly an amazing sounding record. So I want to talk to you about the details now. And I did take notes, and I am going to be looking at my notes some because I want to make sure that I say what I want to say about each song. There's a lot of songs on here, and it's hard to remember exactly what I want to say about each one of them. But of course, let's go to the song You're No Good. It sounds very natural, even though everything is extremely powerful and sounds so incredible. It also sounds very natural. The soundstage just blows up. And the solo in You're No Good is extremely beautiful, while the drums sound very lifelike. The drum fill is absolutely incredible. It just goes around the room, pans around the room. And I wrote down in my notes that it just had this three-dimensional experience when I was listening to it. And then with Dance the Night Away, that's such a fun song. That's one of those, if I have any critique about any of the songs, Dance the Night Away, as fun as it is, it does remind me a lot of Dancing in the Street. That's probably more of a slam of them doing the cover of Dancing in the Street, because I feel like they had done it already and better with Dance the Night Away. And it's one of those moments that when the harmonies kicked in of Dance the Night Away, I got full chills going up my arms. And I've never had that with that song before. The harmonies are so beautiful, and it's just such a part of what Van Halen was and what stands out to me. They have those incredible harmonies. The drums are punchy. And then Somebody Get Me a Doctor. I love the guitar panning. There's a solo where Eddie's playing and then Dave's going, woohoo! It's absolutely so much fun and so incredible. So I really enjoy Somebody Get Me a Doctor. I remember hearing that song, and it's very sentimental to me. I got to see them in 2015, their final tour, and I absolutely cherish that concert, and I just want to remember it for the rest of my life. Somebody Get Me a Doctor was on that set list thanks to Wolfgang Van Halen. I believe they allowed him to make the set list for that tour, and I'm forever grateful, because I feel like Wolfie picked out the best of the best songs, and that was an incredible set list. So I'm very, very grateful to Wolfie for picking Somebody Get Me a Doctor, an explosive song. The song Bottoms Up, and you know, I don't want to go on and bash the 2015 version, but I mean, just it paled in comparison with all of these. The drum fills on Bottoms Up is incredible. That come on, come on, come on, baby. I mean, he just sounds absolutely amazing. Dave does. And Alex shines on the cymbals on that. It's just so good. And then comes that fierce Eddie solo. And then the song Out of Love. I wrote down that the drums are on fire. Beautiful touch of the cymbals. Dave's singing sounds so great. And the imaging, and I don't mean it on just this one song, I mean it on every song on this one step. The imaging is absolutely amazing. Light Up the Sky. This is such a sentimental song for me. It was the opening song of that 2015 tour. I got to share it with my daughter. It's just absolutely wonderful. So there's a moment I want to just talk about, and I know it has nothing to do with this one step or this review, but one of the things that come to me when I hear Light Up the Sky is the memory of being at that concert and Dave coming over with his microphone to where Eddie's playing the guitar and says, "The best moments of my life have been spent on the stage with this man." And Eddie has this sincere smile on his face. And I like to think that even after everything that band had been through with Dave, that Eddie was hearing what Dave said. I believe it to be sincere from Dave, and I believe that with the smile on Eddie's face, he took it in and believed it. And the sincere smile that Eddie gave, you know, they had been through a lot. They had butted heads so much during the years that they were together and apart, but they did create something extremely special together. And I love that these older men whose young days were behind them, clean and sober, one giving, you know, Dave doesn't really give people compliments very often or show that softer side. He's usually pretty fierce and cool. That was just an emotional moment that hit me in all of the right ways. And this song, Light Up the Sky, is very special. It was already a favorite of mine, but now it even means more, having experienced that. And I'm sure Dave did it at every single concert. It wasn't just the St. Louis show that I attended. He probably did that the whole tour. But, you know, Ed's solo, coming from my left, the most incredible drum solo, and then, wow, boom, those harmonies, you know, when it comes to Light Up the Sky. Enough can't be said about Alex. I feel like Alex has always been an unspoken hero. I don't know that he ever really wanted the spotlight. He didn't get it, that's for sure. When people talk about the best drummers of all time, Alex doesn't usually join that until you start talking about second tier drummers. We hear about John Bonham, the one from The Who, his name's Keith Moon, I'm sorry. People like that. Alex gets forgotten because the spotlight was always on Eddie. And yet, I feel like with these one steps, everybody shines. It's very natural, it sounds very organic, and yet everybody, not just Eddie, but Alex shines. Dave's vocals sound amazing. I really do believe that Michael's a great bass player, but the harmonies, Michael Anthony and what Eddie and Michael were able to create together were so incredible. But let's face it, those high notes that Michael Anthony was able to sing in the harmonies is a trademark of what makes Van Halen really great. Great musicians, and the harmonies were incredible. Going from Light Up the Sky to the song Spanish Fly, this is where the mobile fidelity vinyl formula is so important. This record is dead silent, and on a song like Spanish Fly, where Eddie is playing so delicately, so quietly, it is absolutely a beautiful song, and it shows Ed's skills so much. You hear the fingertips playing. You need that dead silent vinyl, and it's just absolutely amazing. So there's no distractions. You don't hear those clicks and pops. I say you, I mean me. That's my experience. I didn't hear any clicks or pops. Nothing to distract me from the beautiful, quiet performance of Spanish Fly that goes right into DOA. And that is such a fierce song. You know, I say this album is a lot of fun, a lot of love, summertime feelings. They also can be fierce and tough and bad on this album. There's some darker edge songs. DOA is one of them, and Dave's delivery on that song is absolutely incredible and sounds amazing. Then we get into the lighter fare here where the album's about to end. Women in Love. That intro sounds so beautiful. The harmonies are incredible. They sound lush. It's just a great song. It's one of my favorites on this album. I like a lot of them. You know, they're sentimental. But Women in Love is so beautiful. And then we go into Beautiful Girls, which is that summertime happy feeling song. And you're getting Eddie playing. And the tone is so good on Eddie's guitar when I'm listening to this one step. And we get those beautiful harmonies. Again, an unsung hero is how great Alex plays the guitar. You hear his work. You know, in some versions of this album, Alex gets a little buried in the mix. This shows him front and center playing the drums in a beautiful way. You can hear his work. You can feel his heart and soul when he plays. And it's so incredible. And I also think that it has to be said on the song Beautiful Girls, the delivery of David Lee Roth is truly what makes that song so incredible. A lot of people think Dave can't sing, you know, and maybe he can't right now. He's in his 70s, isn't he? He's getting old. But back in the day, I love the low voice, the attitude, the personality he brings. And of course, his personality is on full display on the song Beautiful Girls. And the ending, the last thing you hear is it's like a chef's kiss, like mwah. Beautiful album, and that is the end. And again, I just want to say again, this sounds so amazing. Thank you to Mobile Fidelity for doing this. So incredible. Thank you for sending a promotional copy my way. I would have paid full price. It's worth every penny. If you're a huge Van Halen fan, this one step is truly the way to go. The other copies, you can get them readily. They're a lot cheaper, but this gave me an experience I've never had before. It is so natural sounding, and yet it puts so much power and energy. Eddie never sounded better. Alex never sounded better. Dave's incredible on the vocals. Michael just absolutely knocks it out of the park when he puts in his harmonies and his bass. It shows why Van Halen is my favorite band and has been since I was 12 years old, just a little girl. Been listening to them my whole life. They still have my heart, and this is so wonderful. So I'm so glad that I'm now getting audiophile records by Van Halen. For me, the first one that came out, Van Halen, the debut album on One Step, is incredible, and I think this one is just as good, if not even better. So they keep getting better. That excites me, but I'm really pleased with what I'm hearing so far. So if you own this already, let me know in the comments how you feel about it. Please share your feelings and thoughts about Van Halen, because it really is truly all about the music and about the amazing band Van Halen. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell. But most importantly, just thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.